My name's Adrian Peach. I define myself as a multidisciplinary designer, and I've been living and working in Berlin now for 16 years. So I'm originally from England, and after my studies in industrial design, I went to work in Italy, initially as a young assistant for the designer Antonio Citterio. And there I learned about furniture design and lighting design in terms of modular systems and in terms of how we as designers support industry in optimizing every process, including the branding process. I learned about this sort of holistic, multidisciplinary way of working in design, not being a specialist in any particular technique or sector. No. I worked in Italy from 1992 till 2004, and subsequently continued to work with Italian clients. And I think what's unique about this experience, which every day I draw from what I learned in those years, is the strong connection that design has with architecture or an architectural sensibility, and the fact that the designers are often involved in a very global consultancy with their client companies. They're not just designing the object, they're looking at the whole offering of the brand. And then in a later stage in my career, I worked for the British architect David Chipperfield and was responsible for a number of product design projects in this large office, again, working on an international scale. And I also teach design. That's a more recent development. After I'd gained experience, I felt that I really then could genuinely have something to share with a younger generation of people. And I also very much enjoy the dialogue that you have with the next generation. It's enormously rewarding, it's inspirational, and it helps me with my own practice. And I'm working at HTW here in Berlin, and I've also enjoyed working in Cairo at the German university, where once again I find myself in a completely different cultural context, which means I can't bring a packaged idea about design and offer it as is to people from a different cultural context. I need to work with them, understand how they think about things, and then tailor my teaching offering accordingly so that it matches their needs. And I really enjoy this kind of adapting all the time to a new scenario and getting to know new people, and you learn enormous amounts from this kind of experience. So sometimes worked on very small objects, other times I've worked on lighting systems, other times I've worked on retail or residential interiors, and more recently I've become very interested in the relationship that we have with smart products and this kind of hybrid existence we have, whereby we're constantly engaging with the virtual world, but of course there still always needs to be a physical contact point of some kind. And so how do we design that interface? I'm working on a couple of interesting projects in that field. The first is a self-starter, which is about smart access, a smart door lock, because I find it very frustrating the way the current systems work. They seem to put us, the user, as the slave to the system, rather than creating a system which really does think in a smart way for us and make our life easily. And the idea is that the smart system would disguise itself inside a completely traditional looking hardware setup. And if I'm authorized, I'm recognized, I go through the door in the standard way that we've all learned since childhood. And some of our dogs and cats have learned it too. Now, the other project that I'm working on in the tech world is with a local company here in Berlin called SkyCharge, and they make smart charging systems for drones. So for instance, if you have a large industrial space or agricultural space and you need to survey it, you need to keep everything under control, what better not to have than an autonomous drone setup that can fly autonomously and survey your space, check it for you, keep things safe, perform maintenance checks. And so these drones would fly without pilots, and therefore they have their own flight plan, and they have an autonomous charging pad. And in some cases, there's a little house which is weatherproof, heat-proof, cold-proof, dust-proof, which then lets the drone out to fly and then lets him back in again. And this was an extremely exciting product. It's about, if you like, those sort of only partly visible objects that we see around us all the time, often by the side of the road, but which, if done well, give us as citizens, as people, a sense of confidence in the world around us. And I very much enjoy working with this kind of project. Not that necessarily the high status product, but the small things that are around us that are all working together to make the world feel like a better place. And the other interesting theme, I think, around working with drones is that, are they the good guy or are they the bad guy? And so the idea with this project for me was to somehow, in designing these sundry accessory objects, to somehow be the ambassador for the good drone. And at the same time, it's a new field. There's a whole new design language to explore. What do we want to say with these things? So, we've made some. We're already shipping some very sophisticated projects, and I'm looking forward to doing a whole load of new work on this range of products with Skycharge, with whom I now have a working relationship for over 5 years. There are a number of people I know who are members of IDZ, and so I was a little bit slow to sign up, but of course I always knew that design is dialogue, really. It is a skill, it's a trade, it's a job, but it's made of dialogue, and so of course you build your network, and from there you find opportunities, you learn new things, you develop your design, not your design skills so much as your design approach to things. So it's absolutely fundamental to be part of an association. And in this case, I knew that I would be treated well and I would be in a good community. I try to draw my inspiration actually from fields outside of design. I very much enjoy exhibitions, photography exhibitions. I love going to the cinema. The other thing I draw a great deal of inspiration from is music, and listening mainly to music with American roots from the jazz or blues tradition, and how that developed and came across the Atlantic and then back again. And I'm always so intrigued by how a song was made, how it was recorded, who was playing on it. And there's a great film that illustrates that by Jean-Luc Godard called Sympathy for the Devil, which just is a completely passive camera in the recording studio that watches the song called Sympathy for the Devil being developed from its bare bones in acoustic variants to very nearly to the finished version, and how the song completely changes during the course of this process of just working through. It's the lesson in design thinking delivered to us already in 1968. It's the music every time, and pretty much everything I listen to, I want to know how it was made, whether it's Kind of Blue, recorded in over a period of 4 days, I think, not less, or the way that Frank Sinatra would leave a recording not quite perfected, but the mood was right in that moment, and it's something intangible. You can't quite put your finger on it, and so I like to think that I get my inspiration from here, and then that infuses my approach to the design, rather than spending hours looking at design publications, which of course we can do, but then our thoughts tend to become a bit more circular. Yeah.